Super Mario 64 beaten in 6 minutes and 29 seconds. Portal beaten in under 6 minutes, getting over it in just over a minute, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild in 24 minutes and 52 seconds. These are just a few of the world record speedrunning times for games that are supposed to take much longer to complete. At the forefront of speedrunning is a community known as Games Done Quick, which hosts 2 major in-person charity events a year. Since 2010, they have raised over $34 million, but in 2020, the pandemic threatened GDQ's ability to put on a show and raise money for those in need. However, through the power of the speedrunning community, 2021 proved to be their best year ever. This is the year of Games Done Quick and how they and their fans not only powered through the pandemic, but during a time of crisis for so many, came together stronger than ever. For over a decade, GDQ has been putting on speedrunning charity events that benefit organizations like the Prevent Cancer Foundation and Doctors Without Borders. Their 2 major events every year are Awesome Games Done Quick, or AGDQ, in winter, and Summer Games Done Quick in summer, also known as SGDQ. In addition to being streamed to the world, these are multi-day speedrunning festivals with an enthusiastic and supportive crowd. As the name implies, speedrunning is all about going fast, beating games as quickly as possible using obscure methods, glitches, and shortcuts. This means that games that take many hours to complete are conquered in a fraction of the time. For example, some of the world records include a 6-minute, 49-second, and 150-millisecond run of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, or a 1-hour, 26-minute, and 49-second run of Resident Evil Village. Here are a few more mind-blowing clips to give you an idea.
That looks good.
Yes, nice.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Attaboy.
So
it's very important that he pulled it as late as he could in order to still get the BTB, just because he does need all of this stamina to get all the way to Castle.
get them blessed RNGs.
Yes.
Blessed
RNG
RNGs.
gods. Yes.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah! Let's go,
Oh,
baby! Let's go! We thank you!
Okay.
Yes!
Yeah.
I thought I could have you!
Before we look at 2021, we need to set the stage with 2020. Coming off the back of a record-breaking $3.164 million raised at January at AGDQ 2020, there were definitely high expectations for SGDQ 2020 in midsummer. COVID-19 threw GDQ's plans into disarray, however, pushing the event online, and the challenges immediately started coming. First, a new date was selected and SGDQ was delayed until August. Next, all volunteer applications needed to be resubmitted and revetted. Then, arguably the heaviest lift, converting their in-person speedrunning event into a fully fledged virtual production. Volunteers needed to be converted and trained in new technical areas. Runners had to coordinate their streams from their homes, and the GDQ team even reviewed new runs for the online event. Despite all the last-minute changes for SGDQ, the staff were able to pull off an amazing week of speedrunning and even managed to bring exciting new runs to the show, like Half-Life Alyx. The first ever virtual reality run at a GDQ event showed off some unique techniques and illustrated one of the challenges of VR, namely, not running into physical walls or objects of the room you're playing in. In the end, despite the obstacles, SGDQ 2020 raised $2.3 million at a time when the money was needed more than ever. Shortly after the summer event, the GDQ staff quickly realized that an in-person event for winter's AGDQ 2021 wouldn't be possible. So mid-September, it was announced that AGDQ 2021 would take place completely online from January 3rd through the 10th, with GDQ once again running the event from their studio and runners participating from the safety of their homes.
Live from the internet, it's AGDQ!
With the experience of 2 minor virtual events and 1 major virtual event already under their belt, AGDQ 2021 launched with more skits, more production value, and whatever this was.
Oh my god! What are you doing? Yes! More! Keep going!
The team also premiered a brand new virtual crowd, which would react on stream when viewers used specific emotes on Twitch. It was a nice touch to return to some of the energy and excitement of a live event to the runners and viewers. As for the actual runs of AGDQ 2021, there was a lot to look forward to. One of the highlights was the blindfolded 16-star Super Mario 64 run in 39 minutes and 9 seconds. It's truly astonishing how detailed speedrunners can be that they're able to complete runs blindfolded, mainly using audio cues, in astonishing efficiency. Rhythm games and VR continue to break ground as well, as Beat Saber had an hour-long showcase by GDQ staff member Kung Fu Fruit Cup. But in the world of DMCA, many of the songs were unable to be broadcast, so they had to tweak a few things to make the showcase DMCA friendly. Thankfully, the Beat Saber community is full of amazing modders who made this showcase possible and treated viewers to classic video game themes and a remix of Crab Rave. Speaking of rhythm games, how about using a dance pad to complete a platformer? The game was Celeste, and the run was made by Peking Boo. He completed the game in 14 minutes and 41 seconds. One of the most exciting things to happen at a GDQ event are the world record runs, and AGDQ 2021 delivered. Mitch Flowerpower cut the Super Orb Bros world record time in half, bringing it down to just under 19 minutes, and 2 Sonic games saw new world records. Sonic 3, Angel Island Revisited by Zaxxon96 in 34 minutes and 24 seconds, and 1 in Sonic the Hedgehog Mobile by Runner Flying Fox in 20 minutes and 3 seconds. AGDQ 2021 Online also saw the return of Awful Games Done Quick. If you're not familiar with this part of the show, the games had to have a few basic requirements to qualify for the run.
The acting must be bad. The audio must be unbalanced, and the overall quality must be abysmal. Igor, fetch me Mr. Bones for the Sega Saturn.
These runs aren't so much about the speed, but more about trying to push the limits and exploring some of the truly terrible games. You're gonna have to stay up pretty late to catch them though, as they're usually running in the wee hours of the night. But if you can stay up, you'll see runs of games like Mr. Bones, Shinobi Legions, and Epic Dumpster Bear 2, He Who Bears Wins. That's a personal favorite. These runs are worth checking out even in VOD form to see some truly awful games that you never knew existed or thought were buried in a landfill next to the Atari ET game. And while there were many big donations that stole the spotlight at AGDQ 2021, like the donations from the online company Fangamer, who donated nearly $100,000, the majority of the 42,117 donations were from individuals that donated on average $65.05. All this combined helped AGDQ raise $2.7 million for the Prevent Cancer Foundation, which would be used for cancer screenings, funding international grants, and advancing research to help fight cancer.
Your stories motivate us on a daily basis to do the work that we do in the world that's so important. So we're so grateful to all of you. Thank you guys so much.
While the world was slowly working through the pandemic, the GDQ team made the decision to do Summer's GDQ Online from July 4th through the 11th. However, the staff were able to come together in person to host the event. The return to being in person for hosts was a momentous occasion for all of them, which they played up for the pre-show skits.
What if instead this year we just do it in person, Jeff?
Well, I guess we got no choice.
Oh, you're real.
With runs still being virtual, the GDQ team sought out ways to bring new runs to the GDQ events, and this year, some new rhythm games made the cut. While usually bogged down by cumbersome, arcade-sized equipment that is near impossible to transport efficiently, Edukin was able to treat viewers to some feet tapping and knee slapping, dancing on an arcade pad in Dance Rush stardom. He even brought a dance partner with him, in the form of a Swiffer Sweeper.
Let's give it up for Swiffer Jam.
We call this move that you missed a spot.
Star Rod Kirby 86 also treated viewers to a unique rhythm game called My Finale, which looks like it's played on a washing machine, and the weirdness of Bishi Bashi rounded out a solid rhythm game showcase not usually seen at GDQ events.
And we're gonna get the bonus at the very end by closing it completely, opening it completely, and revealing Golden Poop.
Remember the blindfolded 16-star run Bubzia did at AGDQ earlier this year? Well, how about a blindfolded 70-star Super Mario 64 run in 1 hour, 49 minutes, and 59 seconds? Speaking of knowing a game inside and out, how about knowing how the code in multiple games interact with the N64 era? You know, the console that came out 25 years ago? That's exactly what was showcased in one of the most bizarre speedruns of SGDQ 2021. Paper Mario required speedrunner JCog to start The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and corrupt the code that gets written to the N64 expansion pack, crash the game, swap the cartridge, start Paper Mario 64, then execute a few frame-perfect techniques in early parts of the game before overloading the game and causing it to crash, which allowed him to skip to the end credits in all of 26 minutes and 12 seconds.
Really low jump, but hopefully this worked.
Hope that wasn't late. Oh,
Nice.
Here we go. And
Nice.
time.
Credits.
Let's go. Oh my god, that went so well.
That was actually amazing.
One recurring theme viewers had to look forward to in SGDQ 2021 was the runs that were races each day. They're all impressive, especially since they had to coordinate starting runs virtually, but the Super Metroid 100% three-way race between the top 3 runners in that category was the best to catch. Runner Dangers also took another fan-favorite game to a new level by requiring his Super Mario Odyssey run to use Talkatoo in order to determine which moons he could collect outside of the story moons. Talkatoo would only give him 3 moon hints at a time, and he would have to decide in what order to collect them. It's more or less a randomizer for the run, and made it so Dangers couldn't pre-plan how he would tackle the game like most runs do. Still, he completed the run in 1 hour, 46 minutes, and 3 seconds. PS5 consoles even made an appearance at SGDQ, showing off Demon's Souls and Devil May Cry 5 ports, which is amazing considering how many of us still can't find one in the nearest 8 zip codes. But SGDQ 2021 closed out with an impressive 3-hour and 13-minute Kingdom Hearts 2 Critical Mode Level 1 any% run, and during their run, viewers donated a staggering $230,000. By the end of SGDQ 2021, 40,381 donations had been given to support Doctors Without Borders, while a few massive donations, like the Yeti donating nearly $150,000, helped push the donation incentives over the edge. The average donation came up to $72.77.
As an example of how far your support truly goes, the dollars raised here this week is the equivalent of funding all of our work in Bolivia and Brazil last year. Seeing you rise to the challenges of taking this event virtual over the last 2 years has been awe-inspiring.
What could have been a lackluster or even disastrous year for games done quick turned out to be the exact opposite. The team and the community were able to coalesce and create 2 amazing virtual events that exceeded all expectations, brought viewers new experiences, and even saw a few records broken. With 2021 behind them, the GDQ team turned their thoughts towards what AGDQ 2022 would look like and whether or not they would be able to return to an in-person event. Unfortunately, with the pandemic lingering on, the GDQ team made the decision to continue their streak of virtual events in order to guarantee the safety of runners and attendees. But after 3 virtual events and a record year of fundraising in 2021, there are no doubts that the GDQ team can crush their events, online or off.